All right. And yeah, I guess with that said, let's jump into the monthly report. What is this? I guess we're in March, so this is the February monthly report. Yes, it is. February was a busy month. Let me. I think. What if we do? Let me know if this is a good scene for you guys for a monthly report, because then I can make it nice and big. You guys like this? I think that works better for something like this. There you go. All right, February was a busy month for all CIG studios with the final bug fixing for the upcoming patch alongside extensive feature and tech work for releases later this year. Read on for everything completed and in progress, including the Lorville rework, a new water system, updates to Arena Commander, and more. All right. So, as always, they start out with AI tech. They began February by completing the NPC transit feature, which manages elevators and trains. Well, we see how that's going. No, I think this is just related to NPCs will understand if a transit carriage is present and whether they can move directly inside or if they need to wait or if they should press a button to call it. They will also understand when they've arrived at their destination and will move outside. While in the carriage, NPCs will look for a usable and idle there until they reach their destination. Upon completion, their feature was passed to design, following which AI tech addressed feedback and fixed bugs. All right. The team fixed that kind of stuff for pushing trolleys and things. The team also finished the base skeleton for Boids, birdoid objects, which will enable groups of small creatures like birds, fish, and rats. This required them to implement new components, including a system that allows designer to write rules and constraints related to spawning and movement. Okay. On the navigation system side, AI tech, this was a typo, continued to work on cost area shapes that will influence the topology of navigation mesh triangles. Okay. As mentioned in last month's reports, this will initially be used to avoid fire hazards and define sidewalks. Okay. Team progressed with navigation, entity properties. I usually kind of breeze over this stuff as it starts to get incredibly technical. Ignoring walkability, NPCs will not be able to walk on top of objects or consider it an obstacle, so they won't get stuck. Right? Then for tools, this is very technical as well. They fixed several issues relating to the resizing of the node graph. Yeah, like incredibly technical here. They also fixed an issue preventing a usable group coordinator from working correctly with the object containers. Okay. Yeah, just very technical. Now, I did breeze over this part before because I wanted to see something, and it's actually hilarious. Last month, UK Vehicle Art approached the end of their work on the Argo SRV. The final art phase is in progress, including LOD and damage passes, and is expected to conclude with the final gate review and no-go in March. No-go in March. Work also continued on an unannounced ship, which passed its LOD 0 review gate and is well into the final art phase. A new variant moved into the LOD 0 phase after passing its gray box review in January. Detailing work on the exterior and interior is ongoing. These are announced ships, right? There's no mention of the Antares. Like, these are announced ships. I'm so lost. The Crusader Spirit continued its gray box pass. Yep, we've seen that. Team looked into the Hull C, okay, to fix any visual issues that occurred during the ongoing technical setup, while the MISC Freelancer is undergoing some interior tweaks to accommodate physicalized components. I think it needs to go through an insane interior tweak, but we'll take the small one for now. Then here's another one. You ready? Graybox on an upcoming vehicle progressed. Testing was done simultaneously in the modeling process to see if the team can reduce the lot impact on production once they arrive at the final content phase. That's the X1. Why are they? We know what it is. They said it on SCL. Why they showed the Antares on Twitter? Why aren't they? Why do they do this? Why do they do this, guys? I don't understand. And the Santokia is currently in gray box. Okay. Oh, that's a really good Valentine's Day thing that they did there. That's neat. Why do they do that? I don't know. So community we usually skip unless there's anything crazy. Which there isn't. Sort of same thing with engine. Because essentially they're just going to say they're working on performance improvements as they do. And then Arena Commander features. February saw Arena Commander team continuing to develop and laying the foundation deliverables for an upcoming patch. This includes further work on the spawning and racing system refactors and the delivery of refactor rounds module. Design team focused on the conversation of a new Stanton location into Arena Commander, which will feature all standard game modes, bar classic race. I wonder what that would be. Maybe Jumptown or something. This location we'll talk much more about as we get closer to release. Okay, the team also began to work on an all-new atmospheric dogfighting arena, which will be the first fully atmospheric map in Arena Commander. That's good. Then character and weapon features. One thing, like whatever happened to the Vault weapons? Lockers. Oh, here we go. Team also began looking at lockers and how to best create outfits as a predefined collection of items that can be equipped or worn in a single action. So this is believe it or not, this is a cargo refactor thing. One of the big overarching features of the cargo refactor would be lockers that you put clothes, armor, helmets, things into that you can interact with that locker and take from, maybe a hanger and put those things on. This was part of it. It's basically physicalizing the items when you've put them into an inventory, is what it sounds like. So that's pretty cool. They're currently looking at a combination of an item port and inventory systems to store and display large to small items. For example, a coat may appear on a hanger just like it in the shops, where a small accessory item or weapon attachment can go into an inventory drawer, like where you won't see it. Right? Very cool. Yeah. Another inventory aspect in progress is allowing players to perform a reload directly from the backpack or pocket. Okay. For example, if ammunition isn't directly available from their suit, player can perform a slower reload where it's retrieved from their inventory. However, it only works if spare ammunition has been stored prior to engaging in combat. I like that. That's a really good gameplay change. Gameplay features. The team continues their work on the tractor beam, enabling ship owners to protect their ship items by locking them using lock exterior functionality. They also added an interaction with the Grey Cat multi-tool that will detach unlocked items from ships to allow more control over item detaching. Now, if anybody who is mad about I hope it's not just lock exterior, to be honest. It should be lock cargo grid, personally. Because you can open your cargo hold, and I do believe those things should still be locked. We'll see if that's how it works. But if anybody is like kind of upset of the direction that Star Citizen's going, where it's like highly, I guess, piracy focused this coming patch, this is a really nice kind of counterbalance to that, right? Where, well, they're going to have to soft death you, which is, going to come with a crime stat. Or they're going to have to interact with you and come to an agreement where you unlock your cargo and they take some or whatever, right? So I really do like this. And I think this is a really good quality of life change that is kind of taking the very heavily piracy-focused changes, sort of coming back to the middle a little bit where they'll be a bit more balanced. I really like that. I'm looking forward to seeing that when it comes in, because that's a really important feature to me is, pressing a button and unlocking your cargo, but also safely securing it there when you're not using it. As we've seen with the cargo refactor, you bump into your cargo with another piece of cargo and everything comes unhinged, and yeah, we don't want that, right? The team then expanded on the hollow outline that weapons features provided to get clear feedback on the attaching rules for ship items. So this sounds like not just cargo. It sounds like items, weapons maybe as well. The QATR process for this began alongside QATRs for the mining update. QATR. I don't know what that means. I'll wait for chat to let me know. The team continued to work on Resource Network, which is known as engineering gameplay. Gameplay features will include a more in-depth look into this feature in an upcoming episode of Inside Star Citizen. Very exciting. Very exciting. In the US, the PU team work on physicalized cargo refactor. This is significant conversion, has several goals. Here we go. Quality assurance test request. Thank you. Convert the existing cargo render proxy to actual physical entities for each cargo container. This enables them to be manually added and removed from the cargo grid using the tractor beam. Convert all commodities, minerals, and harvestables to a new resource type. This requires refactors of the mining and refinery systems to ensure they work with the new resources. Hell yeah. This is very exciting. This is a big thing. But this is like, people were like, hey, the cargo refactor, they're not talking about it. At least I was, and now they're talking about it. So very, very cool. It has not died and stopped with 318. It's going to continue. Recreate the commodity kiosk using building blocks to give greater flexibility with future changes. Wait, that's already happened. Okay, I'm confused. Ensure that all missions use any form of cargo. Ensure that all missions that use any form of cargo, usually in the form of carryable two-handed entities, still work with the new cargo resource system. Okay, that's a new thing. Yeah, they did most of these with 318, it sounds like. Work with the ship's team to mark up all cargo grids to use the new system. I don't know. This might be additional stuff. The PU team worked closely with the EU-PU gameplay to ensure the conversion worked not only with the mining and refinery systems, because maybe they don't work with mining and refining, because this will allow cargo or mining bags to be removed, things like that. Would be my guess. But let's keep reading and see. The PU team worked closely with the EU-PU gameplay to ensure the conversion worked not only for the mining and refinery systems, but also to ensure that the new salvage system worked with the new resource system as well. Once we had confirmed that cargo was properly working with the cargo grids, Chris Robert pointed out the fact that since ships were always destroyed upon death, the majority of... Majority of the cargo was destroyed, thus reducing the amount of the system, so we worked with the Arena Commander feature team to implement soft death on ships. This ensures... What? This is old. Yeah, this is still talking about 318, what we already have. We know about soft death. I don't know what to make of this section. I thought we were going to see new goals. But okay. February, they worked on stuff that they finished in December. But sure. Okay, I'm very confused. Mission features. February saw mission features make few improvements to the Klesher Rehabilitation Facility, including changing the stashes to lootable containers boxes for now. This allows them to put whatever items they want inside, such as a rare contraband, alongside the typical sustenance and oxy pens. A full stash should now contain an amount of contraband that can be returned, giving players another non-violent means to reduce their sentence. Players can now also steal minerals from other NPC inmates, and they should do it deep enough in the mines to get away with it without being caught. Given these new options for generating merits, plus the new escape mission in Platinum Bay at the nearby outpost, the team decided to increase the cap on prison sentences to further punish those committing numerous felonies through lighter sentences, though lighter sentences will remain. Mass murder now has serious consequences, leaving escape a much more tempting prospect, right? I think that that's a good change. People who do this stuff can let us know how unpolished still prison is, and if it's a good change or not. Several unannounced missions continue to be prototyped, one of which sees players escorting ships as they quantum travel and land at various locations, potentially allowing players aboard to carry out tasks. Oh, wow. Finally, after inheriting ownership of the reputation system, the team began designing out a system as a whole alongside prioritizing which work comes first. That is the single most important sentence in this entire update. Clearly, somebody didn't have ownership of the reputation system anymore. My guess, Tony Z. I'm gonna call this out until something gets said. And now the mission team now has access to it and are going to make it something. So that's huge. So I can't wait to hear what these guys do. Can't wait to see that somebody is working on the reputation system. When 3.15, I believe it was 3.15, the reputation system came into play. And I said then, very, very good start. But every patch, you have to continue to build upon the reputation system. They simply did not, right? And this is like the moments where I get super frustrated with Star Citizen. Is these would have been easy wins for players like myself who do log into Star Citizen hoping for progression systems and ways to play the game more consistently and enjoy it while it's being developed. A reputation system that was, built upon throughout 3.15 to now would have been a really easy win, I think, and they just didn't utilize it. So those are the things that frustrate me about the game. Not your classic, like, you don't understand game development things of like, hey, this stuff's going to take a long time. They could have had easy wins to make the game exciting and enjoyable, and they just don't. So to see that somebody's taking ownership of it and is working on this is huge. Vehicle features. Last month, the vehicle feature team focused on the transit system, which need a heavy refactor for the release of persistent entity streaming. As we've been pushing through the various PTU waves of Alpha 3.18, more and more issues have arisen. More transit bugs do not present locally on machines, so we've developed a system where we can remotely log the transit system and observe what happened after a bug occurs. This has been extremely helpful in finding various bugs in the PTU. Awesome. 4 releases further ahead, new features were added to the flight system, and some older systems were refactored to support one of the ship team's unannounced vehicles. Okay. Finally, the Mystical Sea received a significant amount of low-level tech updates as the team worked through its issues. Graphics, VFX, programming, planet tech. TSAA is currently being added. Okay. More Gen 12 damage map system was added to it. Several shaders. Okay. Render circles and lighting to support to allow planets in the star map to appear both lit and holographic in a single pass. Okay. Better shaping support for asteroid fields. Improvements to the harvestable system and adding support for instancing to terrain chunks. Quantum travel now has support for quantum casting and redshift, along with various other code improvements. Not sure what this stuff is, but cool. In-game branding. Teams worked on Lorville Skyline is coming to an end. They also began their tests on Pyro's Ruin Station. Who knows what these guys are? Bonus points in chat or in the comments that knows what's in these bags. That means that you've played a lot of 3.18. Eggs, we're going to need a little bit more. We're going to need a little bit more clarification. It's not ETAM, no. Well, I'll wait till the first person in Twitch chat gets it right. PC's close enough. Gasping Weevil eggs. Yeah, gasping Weevil eggs. So they got they used to be in these red containers, and they're now in these kind of drug bags with orange color. Interactables. The team continued to work on Pyro, creating more assets for Ruin Station. What's funny is this was made for Security Post Korea, so I'm not sure why they're showing them here. But there's more work to be done in this mandate. We have really interesting interactable prompts we can't wait to share. Team has also been working closely with mission features on new assets that players will be interacting around the verse, progress with Flare that reached players at some point this year. Okay. The team have also been working closely with mission features on new assets that players will be interacting with around the verse and progressed with Flare. Okay. I was thinking mission features, Flare, reputation. Are we going to actually have rewards for completing missions? It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like, as an aside, there was also Flare, that subscriber Flare that you'll see later this year. Lighting looks good, right? Lorville Skyline rework. Live Tools Montreal successfully implemented their first version of Entity Graph tool into the Network Operations Center, which is a major milestone in supporting persistent entity streaming. Okay. It's all weird. It all feels like stuff that they've done a while ago, but I guess these are the things they needed to do to get 318 to open, is what it sounds like. EU locations. Seraphim Station and the 3 Stanton jump points. I imagine Seraphim Station is another station in Pyro. That would be my guess. I'm not familiar with the lore there, but them working on the art of the Stanton jump points maybe has some meaning. So that's kind of cool. Work is approaching final art on the asteroid clusters for Resource Rush mission, and the team is working on the last fuel modules to close out Content Pack 3, which will enable them to construct and distribute Pyro small to medium outposts. Okay. Tests progress on Ruin Station, which, yeah, don't care really for me personally. Design worked on new missions for Pyro's outposts. Man, there's a lot of work going into Pyro that we're just not going to see in 2023, man. It sucks. Narrative. Team addressing a handful of issues discovered through PTU. Refine and hone their work towards gameplay in the Pyro system. Yep. Seeing how the system's lawless nature has the potential to enhance existing gameplay loops has been very exciting. They coordinated with the environment and design teams on building interiors. Additionally, progress was made on narrative lootables. These are things like journals, articles, and messages that players might one day be able to discover as they explore the universe. Finally, the team's narrative designers continue to work on expanding and improving player interactions with certain NPCs. The narrative lootables is, any kind of like RPG game. Those are always very nice touches. I've never really involved myself in those in any game I've played, but I know how much others do. Like, there'll be a book that you can read in a game and they read it. Players actually sit there and read it and share the stories and all that. It's kind of an important feature, believe it or not, although it may not feel like one. But for the narrative team, why not? Online services. So Shard Broker, PTU testing, Shard Health lifecycle stuff, inventory query caching to the entity graph stores that stores the results of inventory queries in a cache to take the load off the database for repeated lookups of the same query. So just, better inventory systems. And I have seen this improve over time in the PTU. Team for a refactor for insurance ASAP terminals VMA backend with the goal of improving performance and fixing some long-standing bugs. Hell yeah. Nice. Tech animation. They scanned a bunch of models for faces. So, and I guess for an important thing, I did see it. Here it is. We scanned broad range of models, young and old, from all faces of humanity available to us. So, inclusion, more inclusion, which is good. Most of the female faces were scanned, I think, were Asian. Right, so it's been hard for people to make characters that look and feel like them, especially on the female side, if I remember correctly. In February, UI art and design worked on several future features. Yeah, better hairstyles, hopefully one day. But hair is very hard to do in games, so I don't know why I kind of give them a pass on that for now, but that definitely has to be a focus at some point, is inclusion there. Design worked on several future features, including an interactive 3D UI prototype, a universal marker for the star map. Okay. And concept work for some of the updated vehicle UI styles. Creating a color picker UI for use in interactive screens. This better be color picker for us. I see the word color picker. Please. They continue to help polish the new star map, adding space dust to make it easier to perceive movement. Why do we need space dust in a star map? Okay. They completed some workflow fixes. Building blocks, stuff, VFX, CPU to GPU library. We've seen that for a few months now. They continue to refine the new quantum travel effects. Finally, the team carried out improvements to Lorville Skyline. That was that. Guys, my takeaway from this is simple. I want to see this year reputation. That was the biggest takeaway. That was huge. That's huge for me. Somebody taking ownership of reputation and actually prototyping it, building it out, and focusing on it. So for the remainder of this year, I want to see some reputation things happen, or at least a good conversation on reputation things that are going to happen in the near future. And yeah, that is that. So that is the monthly report for February 2023.